and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Danielle Williams. Today on Stock Trader Talk, we're going to take a look at a company that is focused on the oil and gas industry. We're also going to speak with Mr. Jason Castenir, the CEO of First Columbia Gold Corp, who trades under the stock ticker FCGD. Mr. Castenir has a diverse history and background in business, and he is currently focusing his attention on First Columbia Gold Corp. And he has recently transitioned the company from a strictly mining company into a company that is heavily invested and focused on the oil and gas industry. In this interview, we are going to cover the recent acquisition of more than $4.5 million in fixed assets and the strong revenue stream deriving from more than 5,000 acres of oil leases and more than 50 producing oil wells. Welcome to Stock Trader Talk, Mr. Castenir.
Oh, I really appreciate the invitation. We're really honored to be here and excited to let people know what we're doing at First Columbia.
Can you describe to our audience what your company does and give us a background on your experience and a brief history of the company?
Yeah, basically, we put an executive team together who were searching for, obviously First Columbia is a publicly traded company, and so we assembled a dynamic team and went on the lookout for just really value-added acquisition opportunities. And the one we identified, the one we stuck to, was an oil and gas venture in Kentucky. And the upside, the potential was just really, really strong. We were able to purchase it for all stock. So First Columbia Gold, as a historic company, is been primarily invested in mining ventures. That's really where their focus was. That, despite lots of capital being thrown at it, lots of dollars being invested and raised, just couldn't get off the ground. And so we put a new board in place, took over control of the company, and said, listen, we want to be very, very diligent with the capital that we have access to, and we want to bring in acquisitions and revenue that will long-term benefit the company. And so when we acquired this oil and gas business, as I was saying, and we acquired it in July 15th of this year, that met all the parameters. We were able to buy it for all stock, so we didn't have a bunch of debt saddling us, tons of revenue potential. And the acquisition itself leaves the company in a position to make money, reoccurring revenue every single month. It has 5,000 acres across 30 leases. When we started this, there were like 130 some odd wells, but they were not online. And so since that date of July 15th, we brought 55 active wells online. We're producing over 1,000 barrels a month currently. Next month, we expect to hit near 2,000 barrels. And we've got 40 more holes that we feel like we'll have on by the end of the year. So we're really excited. We're in the midpoint of a 10-well drilling program. And this acquisition has put this company literally overnight in a position to produce profits, create really sizable revenue, and really stabilize the company from a shareholder value point so that we can go out and make additional acquisitions to increase this program.
Now, what is the makeup of your board of directors and your marketing team?
Yeah, we really are big on leadership. We feel like leadership matters, and that truthfully the success of companies, no matter how good your idea may be, no matter how strong your business plan is, that it takes leaders to get out there and execute, and really dynamic teams to do and perform their task in order for this thing to actually work. A lot of good deals have fallen by the wayside because they lacked leadership. A lot of great ideas never materialized. So we have that in place. I am CEO, and really what I feel like my number one task is just to empower the leaders that are sitting within this thing, helping them find their role and their niche, and then perform that task really, really well. We also have Clarence Parks. Clarence is a really good details guy. He understands what it takes to make companies grow, very detail-oriented, can handle the minutia of the business. We have a gentleman by the name of Ray DeMont who is handling all the financial filings, really good at making sure that each of our acquisitions are being integrated appropriately, correctly, that our filings are current. Dr. Robert Gates. Dr. Robert Gates is an elder man, really the elder statesman. He did his PhD work in mergers and acquisitions, and he has had a historic business career, 40-plus years, of buying undervalued companies and making them profitable. And then the team that we have put on the ground in Kentucky to run this oil and gas business is phenomenal. The guy who runs our drilling and is really the general manager of the drilling operations has been drilling in these fields, the exact places where our leases are, for over 40 years. And we have, great pumping crews, a good site manager in place. So from top to bottom, our leadership team is, positioned in such a way that we're going to get results. And in fact, the fact that we, in July 15th, acquired something with 0 wells active, and today we're sitting with over 50 active, is a testament. And in 3 short months, we're getting production. We've hit 2 successful, wells in our drilling program. We've got 2 more that we're putting online now. So we're 4 for 4 in oil drilling. So, yeah, I think that the leadership and the makeup of who's making the decisions day to day is really the reason we're having the kind of success we're having.
Can you talk to our audience a little bit about your strategic direction and business objectives?
For me, that's the most exciting thing about this company. And when you look at the story, because you have a mining company here that had all kinds of mining holdings, and just mining becomes a very, very cost intense business. And, the people who are leading the company, really, really competent folks, but they just never could turn a profit. So when we took over control of the board and we tried to take this company in a new direction, we said, listen, we want to, go out and we want to acquire performing companies that are undervalued or distressed or have some reason why we could acquire it at a tremendous discount to value and then make it perform instantly, day one, for our shareholders. And we did that with this oil company. And we're certainly on the horizon looking for additional acquisitions. But when we talk about our goals, our growth, and what we're going to do next, this oil and gas company will produce revenue for a long, long, long time coming. We currently, as I already stated, we have over 55 wells currently in production right now today. We're doing over 1,000 barrels a month. We think we'll hit 2,000 next month. And we're really in our infancy with this thing. But what is more exciting to me than just the raw production is the fact that we also have a phenomenal full-service oil company. We currently service a 100-mile radius, and we provide drilling services in that area. We have our own acidizing company. So not only can we acidize and treat our own wells and increase our own production, which is part of the reason you're going to see that production jump so high next month, but we also can go and treat other clients and customers' wells within a 100-mile radius. There's a huge demand for that, especially in this part of the country when it comes to exploration. We also provide well completion services, roustabout services, and then maybe most significantly is our BS&W services. And this BS&W allows us to go to the tank bottoms and clean those out. And if anybody's been in the oil and gas business, they know that these tanks, they get filled with sludge and water and waste, sediment, and it impacts the amount of oil you can store in these tanks. Well, we have an invented technology that allows us to go clean out those tank bottoms, turn that waste into marketable crude. And not only can we perform this service for ourselves and our own, 5,000 acres worth of leases, but we also offer that service to a wide range of folks within that 100-mile radius. When we talk about strategic growth, not only are we going to continue to grow this production every single month, we're in the middle of a 10-well drilling program now. We have another 40 wells that we'll be turning back online that we already owned. But we also are going to grow these services. We plan to add the cementing services to where we can go out and do cement work and, help folks with their cement jobs on their wells. We're going to grow our BS&W. We really feel like we can take this service and take it to a large client of people. And then beyond that, we also believe that our saltwater injection program, we currently have 6 saltwater injection wells. We think we can market that within 150, 200-mile radius and begin to inject other people's saltwater. So we're really excited about the growth potential of this. Saltwater disposal is as valuable as oil production. If you are able to dispose of water, you can get as much as $2.50, $5. I've seen sometimes it's even $10 a barrel to dispose of water. And we have 2 new injection wells that we'll be drilling in next month that will handle as much water as we can put in them. And so we intend to pick up already some clients that have already committed to us and begin to dispose salt water. And I think that the fastest growing sector of our business in the next 90 days will be this saltwater injection. I'm really excited about it.
And where did this concept originate from?
Well, if you're in the oil business, there's no secret that there is factors that limit your production. And so when we're looking at growth models, we really are just like any other business. How do you solve a problem and turn it into a profit opportunity? So when we are looking at our oil well services, that is a place of great growth, because when you're servicing other people's wells, there's no risk. When you're drilling a new well, you may hit oil, you may not. Either way, you have to pay for the drilling. They don't give you your money back because it wasn't successful. But when we talk about oil services, setting other people's pump jacks up and, going in and doing a cement job or doing an acid treatment, we don't have any risk. We get paid for performing the service where and when the customer tells us. And when you add that with some services that no one else is doing, like ES&W, this waste at the bottom of tanks is a tremendous problem, because eventually that waste begins to take up more and more space in the tanks, which means less and less room for oil. So when we go and provide that service for folks, that is a real service that no one's offering, that we get to make a lot of money. Right now, people have to once or twice a year pay a lot of money for someone just to come haul it away. Our technology allows us to not only clean it, but turn it into marketable crude that we get to go sell that we have no money in. It's like free crude. And then when it comes to saltwater injection, I can tell you in this part of the country, there are producers who could quadruple their production if they could do something with the water. And water in these oil formations is such a challenge, such a problem. And so with our 2 new injection wells, we can begin to make the rounds. And literally in a small geographical area, there's a lot of water demand. And we can begin to pick up that water, dispose of it in our injection wells, and that is a massive profit center. And like I said, I think that will be one of the fastest growing sectors of our business in the next 90 days.
Can you elaborate on the significance of the industry and the audience that you're targeting for your services?
Well, I mean, it's no secret that oil has always been an in-demand product. There's a lot of businesses that have to spend a ton of time, effort, and energy in marketing their particular product. Oil is definitely not one of those. I mean, there are refineries that will offer you contracts and pay you every single day if you'll bring them every drop of oil you can find. So we're not out here having to try to convince people to buy this product or try to get folks to spend money here or there. We have a very, very willing customer at the refinery, and they're begging for our product. So marketing is very, very simple. What really is the challenge is, production. And so our focus is really threefold. We want to increase our own production so that we can get out and increase revenues. So that's number one. Number two is we want to increase our services, because not only do we want to increase our production, but there's a whole lot of other producers out there wanting to increase theirs. And so as we begin to offer our services into the market, quickly, there's such a demand in this area for, cementing services and acid jobs and those types of things. Quickly we'll begin to grow our revenue in that area. And then third, we want to begin to focus in on these niches where it's not just traditional oil services, but they're niches that no one else is doing, like the BS&W and like the saltwater injection, that are such fine niches that we really find ourselves in a league of our own when it comes to marketing them. So as we focus on those three things, we really think that this is really, really profitable. The added caveat to that for investors and shareholders is we are not a complacent company. We didn't set out to just be a mining company or just be an oil and gas company. We set out to be an acquisition company. So with the same intensity that we have acquired and developed and brought this acquisition into profitability, we intend to do that again and again, utilizing the strength of our shares, the strength of our team to identify really good acquisitions, bring them into our company, and make them just as profitable and just as prosperous as this oil and gas has already been for us.
Okay, now regarding your business plan, what would describe to our audience in a snapshot your current operations?
Well, I think we've been talking about it, and certainly it's really exciting because it's really just that simple. It's this threefold plan, and all we're trying to do is grow that. So when it comes to production, that's pretty simple. We have 50 some odd wells. When we started July 15th, we had to convert all the leases over, do all new assignments, transfer a lot of the filings, and there was a big transition period. So from July 15th to August 15th, really we were just in transition mode. From August 15th until now, that 2.5 month span, we went from 0 wells online to 55, which is our count right now today. We expect another 40 to come online by the end of the year. So that is our production growth plan. Additionally to that, we are drilling new wells. We have a 10-well program, as I mentioned, and we're going to acidize our current wells, which will increase production there. So that is simple. With our production, we want to grow production. Also, our injection wells, when we can dispose more water in our own injection wells, we can produce more oil. So production is first and foremost. Secondly, is these service companies. And right now, I can tell you that we have the acidizing services, we have the drilling services, the well completion, all these that I mentioned. Our plan is to upgrade equipment and take us from where we currently service a 100-mile radius. We want to grow that to where we can service a 200-mile radius. And that really is our focus. And then those two niche jobs, as I mentioned, the BS&W and the saltwater injection, really focus on growing those, expanding those. And we're already doing 2 injection wells. We'd like to bring on another couple after that, really focus on that BS&W and saltwater injection. And I think that that'll set us apart. I really do. And then, of course, that third phase the fourth phase. So we have the production being number 1, service number 2, those niche markets number 3, and then of course number 4, going out and making new acquisitions and growing our company. So really that is our focus. And when people are going to measure us, I think that they'll look and see in those 4 areas, how successful are these guys being? What have they accomplished? And I think that they'll be really satisfied with what they see.
Mr. Castenir, who is your transfer agent, and are they open for investors to inquire about the share structure of your company?
Absolutely. We use Transfer Online. They've been phenomenal to work with. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're up to date on OTC markets, so folks can get there and get the basic information, and certainly they can inquire and make sure that they understand that what's being reported is accurate with the transfer agent. So certainly.
Now, what does your potential revenue streams and balance sheets look like?
Our balance sheet is really, really strong because we acquired what was valued at the time, an appraised value, at $4.6 million. When we came in and did this acquisition, there was $4.6 million worth of hard assets. That's vehicles, that's oil rigs, that is land in a building. We've got a full office facility, a maintenance shop. We got a whole yard to store equipment, locked under key, behind fence. I mean, so we have a lot of fixed hard assets. Now, obviously, as you're integrating those and booking those assets, they're in the process of filing the latest Q. I've not seen what the final numbers will show on book value, but I could tell you that appraised value, that's what they came in at the day we did this acquisition. So we have a really strong balance sheet because all of those assets are unencumbered. We don't have any debt on them. So the debt we do have has been utilized to enhance our drilling and to continue increasing our production numbers and to really achieve those 4 items that I spoke about. So we really think our balance sheet is extremely strong. When we talk about potential revenues, I mean, the sky's the limit. I mean, certainly these service sectors here, I mean, if you're getting $5 a barrel, let's say, and we're able to dispose of 1,000 barrels of salt water a week, it's $5,000 a week of revenue off of that one service. And certainly 1,000 barrels a week is nothing. I mean, that's something that we could achieve with great ease within the next 30 days. So, when we look at our ability to, profit and post that, I mean, that is $250,000 worth of revenue right there. So we certainly feel like we will be a multi-million-dollar company when it comes to revenue over the course of the next 12 months. Current revenues will be reported on the latest Q. We did this acquisition in July, so we had about a month after we did our transition period, which was really the month of September, to really operate this business. I think the most telling sign of how strong we've been will be our annual. And when they look at the last quarter, the fourth quarter results, and that's really what we're telling investors. We had about a month in this latest Q. You'll get to see kind of a 30-day snapshot. But when you see what we have achieved on the fourth quarter of 2014, I think you will find an extraordinary company that is really showing a lot of growth and a lot of profits. And what we're telling folks is, if you can take a look at what we're doing, get in early, because at that point you're going to see a far different value on this stock than what you see now.
Mr. Castenir, what do you think makes FCGD a good investment for potential investors?
I mean, certainly, as I just alluded to, the fact that this stock is undervalued now. I mean, when I look at deals, and we see a lot of deals from an acquisition opportunity to just deals. I had a long history in consulting. I interacted with a lot of companies, and the challenges of those companies that really kept them 1 or 2 or 3 levels down are not what we have here. We are in a completely different place because we aren't searching for customers to buy our product, and we aren't trying to figure out how to market ourselves or brand ourselves. We're so far past that. And so for me, I'm looking at this and saying, listen, we already have the assets. We already have the revenue. We already have the profit models. We already have the income streams. There are so many things already built in. And what you're seeing filed and reported all predates that. Our last quarterly that was filed in August, of course, represented through the end of June. So it didn't even encompass the acquisition that happened in July. So the reason I think this is a good investment, and the reason I'm so excited and passionate about what we're doing, is you're getting an opportunity to buy now at a discount simply because we haven't been able to file the reportings yet to show what the value of what we already have in our operating actually is. And I believe that come after the annuals filed and they look at the fourth quarter, I think you'll look at a completely different stock price, because at that point, the revenues will be reported on our filings, the assets will be recorded on our filings, and people will realize that this is not just an idea or a hope or a dream. This is tangible, that there are crews in the field working every day to produce, and that production is turning into real income on our balance sheet.
All right, well, we've covered a lot of information, and it's been fantastic, so I want to thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to address?
I really just appreciate the opportunity to be here with you guys. I appreciate the work you guys do to help people, get a chance to look at some really sound, solid investments. I think what's interesting when I look at the financial landscape and investors and what they want to do, there's not a ton of investors that have the opportunity to invest and experience the kind of yields that this stock offers. Being where it is now and the growth potential it has certainly has the ability to create a great return for these investors that stocks that are even popular stocks such as Apple or Facebook, they just don't have that much growth left in them, in my opinion. So I really appreciate the opportunity just to kind of come and talk and discuss what we have going and encourage investors to come take a look. And we hope that they'll give us a shot and take a look at what kind of great things we have going.
Mr. Castenir, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to speak to our audience today. And if you would like to learn more information about them, please join them on their website. Go to firstcolumbiagold.com. And Mr. Castenir, I'd like to extend an open invitation to you to join us anytime you'd like here on Stock Trader Talk. Well, that's going to do it for me. I'm your host, Danielle Williams, for Stock Trader Talk.